You have been handling it, just not well. Not because you are weak, not because your faith is fake, because nobody showed you the difference between how a struggling Christian survives a difficult situation and how a spiritually mature Christian moves through one. And those two things look completely different from the inside. The struggling Christian reacts. The mature Christian responds. The struggling Christian asks God to remove the difficulty. The mature Christian asks God what the difficulty is building. Same situation, same prayer, completely different posture. And that posture is the difference between coming out of a hard season broken and coming out of it dangerous. I am going to show you 7 ways today, and I need you to stay until number 6. Because number 6 is the one that took me the longest to learn, and the one that will save you the most pain if you receive it before life forces it on you. 1. They feel it without becoming it. The first thing that separates spiritually mature Christians is not that they feel less, it is that what they feel does not become who they are. Most people in a difficult situation become the situation. They think about it constantly. They talk about it to everyone. Their identity for that entire season is shaped by the weight of what they are carrying. And the problem with becoming the situation is that you lose the perspective necessary to navigate out of it. Mature Christians feel the pain completely. They do not perform peace they do not have. They do not smile through grief and call it faith, but they feel it from a position, from a foundation that the situation cannot reach. Psalm 46 verse 1 says, "God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble." Ever present. Not available after the crisis is processed. Present inside it. And a person who knows God is present inside the difficulty can feel the difficulty without drowning in it. Feel it fully. Just do not let it tell you who you are while you are feeling it. 2. They ask better questions. When a difficult situation arrives, most Christians ask one question. Why is this happening to me? Spiritually mature Christians ask a different one. What is this producing in me? Those two questions lead to completely different destinations. Why is this happening to me leads to complaint, confusion, and a faith that only functions when life is cooperating. What is this producing in me leads to Romans 5, verses 3 to 4. We also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance character, and character hope. The sequence is right there, but you can only access it if you are asking the question that makes the sequence visible. I learned this during a season of professional failure that I did not see coming and could not explain. For the first 3 months, I asked why constantly, got no answer, got more frustrated. It was not until I shifted the question to, what is this building in me, that I started seeing the season differently. Not painlessly, differently. And different was enough to keep moving. Better questions produce better navigation. Ask them early. 3. They guard their mouth during the storm. Before we go on, I want you to do something important. Share this video with one person you know who is in a difficult season right now. Not after you finish watching, now. They need what is coming more than you know. Now stay with me because number 6 is going to challenge everything you have believed for a long time. Mature Christians understand that what they say about their situation during the storm has creative power over how the storm develops. Proverbs 18 verse 21 says, "The tongue has the power of life and death." Most Christians treat this as a motivational concept. Mature Christians treat it as an operational instruction. They are careful not to speak defeat over situations God has not yet finished working in. They are careful not to declare permanent what God intends to be temporary. They are careful not to give the enemy the satisfaction of hearing them verbally surrender territory they have not actually lost yet. This is not denial. You can acknowledge that something is hard without declaring that hard is permanent. Mature Christians learn the difference. And that difference is one of the most practically powerful spiritual disciplines available to anyone in a difficult season. 4. They separate feelings from facts. Feelings are real. They are not always accurate. In a difficult situation, your feelings will tell you that God has forgotten you. that this will never end, that you are the only one who has ever experienced something this specific and this painful, that the closed door means no door will ever open again. And every one of those feelings will be completely convincing and completely wrong simultaneously. Mature Christians have learned to hold feelings with honesty and facts with grip. The fact is Hebrews 13 verse 5. Never will I leave you. Never will I forsake you. Never. That is not a feeling. That is a fact secured by the character of a God who cannot lie. And when the feeling says abandon, the mature Christian returns to the fact, not to dismiss the feeling, to correct its conclusions. Feel the feeling. Then check it against what God actually said. Because what God said does not change based on what the situation looks like this Tuesday. 5. They let the situation change them before they try to change the situation. This is the one that took me the longest to learn, and the one I wish someone had told me before I spent years fighting seasons God sent to build me. The instinct in every difficult situation is to exit it as fast as possible, to pray aggressively for removal, to fast for breakthrough, to fight for the door out. And sometimes that is exactly right. But spiritually mature Christians have learned to ask a question before they start fighting the exit. Have I received what this was sent to give me? Because some situations are not attacks to be defeated. They are classrooms to be completed. And the Christian who fights their way out of a classroom before the lesson is finished will find themselves enrolled in the same class again in a different situation until the lesson is received. Joseph did not fight the pit. He did not fight the prison. He remained faithful inside the difficulty long enough for the difficulty to build what the palace would require. Genesis 50 verse 20. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. That reframe was not available to Joseph in the pit. It only became visible from the palace. And the palace was only accessible because Joseph let the pit do its work. Let it change you before you try to change it. You will exit faster and fuller. 6. They praise before the answer arrives. This is the most confrontational way mature Christians handle difficulty, and the most powerful. Not praise after the breakthrough, not gratitude when the situation resolves. Praise in the middle of it, while it still hurts, while the answer is still invisible, while every natural instinct is screaming that there is nothing to praise God for yet. Acts 16. Paul and Silas in prison, beaten, chained, no visible way out. And at midnight they sang, not quietly. The other prisoners heard them, and the chains fell off. The doors opened. The breakthrough came through the praise, not before it. Mature Christians understand that praise is not the response to God moving. It is the environment in which God moves. You are not praising because the situation is resolved. You are praising because the God who is bigger than the situation is present inside it, and that fact alone is worth more than the resolution. The difficult situation you are in right now is not evidence that God abandoned you. It is a classroom, a forge, a corridor between who you are and who the assignment requires you to become. And how you handle it is not just about surviving it. It is about who you are when you come out the other side. React or respond. Become the situation or navigate through it. Ask why or ask what. The choice is yours every single day of the season. Choose the way the mature choose. Not because it is easier, because it is the only way that builds something worth having when the difficulty finally ends. Write, I will handle it with maturity in the comments if this challenged you today. Then share this with someone who is currently in a difficult season and handling it the hard way. Subscribe to join our community of believers. God bless you.